Hey guys, Kris here. Thomann YouTube channel. We have some really interesting new products here. Today's show is about the V4 series Victory preamp pedals. V30 Countess is on the board already, the Kraken and the Sheriff. These are preamp pedals, but they also can be used as distortion pedals. There are lots of ways to use them, and we're gonna test three really interesting ways how to figure out what they can offer you. We will go into details and specs, and we were gonna have Mick Taylor. We're gonna have a little chat with him because he was also involved with these pedals, developing wise and testing wise, definitely. But first, sounds. Round one is gonna be the pedals through the power section of the hot rod with this 2x12 cream backloaded Victory cab versus the real deal. So that's gonna be the V30 preamp pedal with the hot rod against the V30. Let's see how it goes. So we are using this cab for both preamp and the head. Same mics, same cab. We just switch back and forth. This is how they look. They need 12 volts and at least 800 milliamperes, which is kind of a lot. But if you have a better quality power supply, multi-power supply, such like this Thomann or similar ones, you can double the current with doubler. So two cables come out, one cable go in here, and then you're good. But you also can, of course, use the original power supply, if that's all right with you. You have a couple of outputs, and it's written here very, very user-friendly. How to actually use it. You have two ways using these pedals. First of all, you can use them, of course, as simple pedals, like distortion pedals. With that, you just go in with your guitar or with your patch cable, and then you go out right into the input of your amp, and that's it. This is probably the best solution or your only solution if you like to use your preamp of your amp. If you don't have an FX loop, that's the only way actually connecting anything anyhow to your amp. So that works, that's easy. And also you have the amp through mode, which is the more intelligent one, and it's actually really impressive. You fire it up with 4 cables and actually even more. No, 4 cables, that's gonna be enough. You go in, you use the FX loop of your amp and connect all your other pedals as well. And then at the end, what happens is that you can turn the unit on and off. If it's on and it bypasses the preamp of your amp, which makes a lot of sense because it is a preamp, of course. And if you bypass the pedal preamp, this will be bypassed, but your signal chain will not be stopped in your FX loop. So your delay, reverb, whatever is connected between this and the return of your amp is still active. You can still use them. And the preamp of your amp will be active again. So you have, like, let's say something like a hot rod with 1 or 2 channels. You only use the clean and you have disconnected. You have 1 hot rod clean channel and you have 2 sheriff channels. And you can use still your FX loop. It's really impressive. I love that feature. And also you have all the good thingies, 2 volumes and masters, or 2 gains and masters actually for the 2 channels. What you have on the pedal, you have your normal equalization and the very effective bright switch, which is a switch let's just let Mick Taylor explain that to you.
The bright switch is there along with a really strong EQ so that you can use any of those things, you know, whether you're going straight to a recording interface or whether you're using effects loop of an amp, or indeed if you're going to the front of an amp, so you've got enough scope there to be able to get it right. And that's the first thing you do. You select the position of that bright switch to something that works for you. On a low gain sound, you might find that one sound works really good, but then if you're running it like flat out with loads of gain and everything's pushing, a slightly brighter setting might work for you better. So it's really, there's no right, there's no wrong. It's just, there's a huge range of EQ there so that you can set it to where it suits your ears. That's it. That's the best sound.
It is a 2 preamp circuit. And what I wanted to ask is, these preamps are no 12AX7s. How close are they sound-wise, or the features and everything, to a more traditional kind of amp preamp?
Victory happened upon a supply of a valve called a CV4014, 4014. That is a military spec. A lot of people might not realize that to this day, valves are used in things like aircraft, submarines, all kinds of military communications equipment, because they are not susceptible to EMP, electromagnetic pulse pressure. These particular valves were commissioned by the MOD to work to NATO military standard that could be used in a lot of mobile communications technology and be particularly good at resisting stuff like vibration and shock and all of that. No one knew if they would work in audio because they hadn't been used in audio before in terms of audio signal production. So Martin tried some, really loved the way they sound. It is a pentode valve, right? So a normal 12X7 type is a dual triode. It's basically 2 valves in one little sleeve. These are a pentode. They're physically slightly smaller than a regular 12AX7 or a 5751. They are all 9-pin dual triodes, right? So these CV4014s are in fact pentodes. They're physically slightly smaller. So they are 3 of the valves in there, and then the other one is something called a EC900, thank you, which is smaller, and that's just a single triode valve. Using 4 of the 4014s, there was a bit of switching noise and some microphonics because gain 1, the first valve, handles the majority of the gain productions. I don't think anyone's put 4 valves in a pedal before. I
never seen any. Like 2 could be, 1 of course, but crazy. I mean, let's not even start to think about crazy ideas like the Fried power station.
Yeah.
With 2 of these. I mean,
totally. Yeah.
Wow.
If you want to run it straight into a power section. So all those guys, I'm thinking a lot of the metal guys who sort of moved away from traditional valve amps and went to digital modeling and stuff, and maybe they're starting to come back to traditional amps in a way, but they want to do it in a different way. Literally anything you want to plug it into.
Lots of approaches. Really cool. Mick, thank you a lot. Thanks a lot, really.
My
That's
pleasure,
awesome.
Kris. And I'm really sorry I couldn't be there. I think I should work out how to get over and we can pick this up.
No problem. We'll find a flight and do, I don't know, a sequel to this one or something.
Okay,
All
mate.
right. Cheers, man.
Cheers,
Thanks so
buddy.
very much. Thanks.
See ya.
Cheers. Round 2. The V4s are connected as distortion pedals, 2-channel distortion pedals. So we are using the preamp of the hot rod and the power amp of the hot rod, and we are going into the same 2x12 Victory cab. So let's see what those 2 channels do as a distortion pedal. All right, third round, let's say a +1 actually. We're gonna compare the preamp section in the pedal format against the preamp section in the amp itself. We're gonna use the same power amp, so we're just gonna switch back and forth between this preamp and that preamp. Power amp is the same all the time, of course, through, you know, the same cab and same mics and everything. So let me just play a lick and I will switch back and forth a couple of times, and then the other amps come and we'll do the same thing. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. Please share your comments down there and hit the subscribe button. Hope you like the pedals. Please let us know what you think, and we'll be back with other stuff in the near future. Cheers.